Dennis Guern and I are going over a cast that was given to us by a researcher. This cast was procured in the early 2000s in the East Texas area, in a swamp area. When he found this, he obviously saw that there was a print with very unusual qualities. We like to call this one the hand's foot cast, because as you can see, there appear to be fingers. Now, Dennis and I found this filled with mud and hairs, which were very cautiously removed. We are looking at a very large foot. In fact, I think Dennis will show us about what the length of this foot is. The top of the big toe all the way down, and we're guessing there's a certain amount of smush here from the mud, so we're guessing
about
the
15.5 inches.
I agree, 15.5 inches, good. And then across the forefoot,
I'm going to take a guess that it's
because of the fingers being on top of part of the ball of the foot, we're going to say, what, 8?
About 8.5.
8.5 inches, okay. And then, so then the heel is about, well, the width of the heel.
Oh, the width of the heel, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's probably about 5.5.
A little over 5, yeah.
5.5 or so.
So this one's large, and now, if Dennis, would you put your fingers kind of near the hand so we can kind of get a guesstimate of like what size? The fingers don't seem particularly huge. Some of them, I think you can even see a little bit of a nail mark, and this appears to be a squish of mud that came between the two hands, right about where the thumbs probably were.
Here's some of the nail marks. There's a good one there. And
yeah, you can even see some of the lines from where the knuckles on this guy are.
And here's another really good nail right here.
Oh yeah.
If that helps. Right
now,
there.
in looking at this, we're kind of confused because why is there a foot with hands? But it looks like these were done by probably 2 separate individuals at 2 different times, and we have a reason to believe that the foot went down first, and Dennis pointed out a really good point too, that if this foot had stepped on this handprint that was in the mud, it would have squished it down, and it didn't. It kept all of its shape nicely. So we figure that the hands came after. It was on the edge of a swamp, and the researcher who got this casting said that he thought that it looked as if the individual had been climbing out of the mud. Now, the hand positioning, you've got to kind of transpose this, imagining that that this was done, this is an upside down look at what the hands were doing. So if you put your hands together, cup your hands together with your thumbs near each other, and then now you've got to flip your hands over, and it's because I think this thing has its hands, if we look at it, it looks like this in the cast, but it was like that in the mud. So we have to assume that probably the action that he was creating was that he was pulling himself out of the mud, and the hands went in, and they just happened to go in where a print of a foot had been. And it could have been the same individual. Maybe he went and got in the swamp, and then he came back out, and he just, kind of came over his own print. But it's really, the texture's a little bit weird because of it being swampy, but a lot of the detail was still able to be had. There's a few places, I think, where we thought maybe we got some dermal ridges.
In this area here.
Right there on the big toe.
Along the side.
Yeah, you can see those.
You kind of see right there. You see it in the mirror? Right
sure
there.
do. And so it did show that we did have hairs, and they seem to be rather auburn in quality, and a good deal of mud. So we're going to be going through some of those details microscopically and sharing that. And we're going to share some more things that we find on this amazing hands-foot cast.